Something strange is happening in Chicago, quiet, subtle, easily overlooked by the average fan scrolling through off-season headlines. But for those of us who live and breathe every snap, every signing, every cap hit, there's a chill in the air, a feeling that something underneath this seemingly ordinary preseason has the potential to erupt into a full-blown storm. And it all starts with four names, four contracts, four decisions that may look small on paper, but carry weight far beyond their dollar amounts. Because while the calendar says it's nearly training camp, and while the buzz says this might be the most complete Bears roster since 2018, I'm here to tell you there's a mystery brewing inside Halas Hall that not enough people are talking about. And if you care about where this team is going, you better pay attention now, before it's too late. See, Ryan Poles just signed, or rather committed to, four players whose contracts aren't just puzzling, they're borderline baffling, especially when you pull up the dead cap implications. And we're not even talking about household names or potential breakout stars. We're talking about borderline depth pieces and undrafted rookies whose guaranteed money raises questions that go way beyond the field and into the very soul of how this roster is being built. And we're going to walk through each of them right now, one by one, because hidden in these transactions might be a peek into Poles' biggest gamble yet. Not with stars, but with the bottom of this roster and the financial risk embedded inside it. And if you're not following the money, you're missing the real story. But before we dig in, I need to ask one thing of you. Wish my mom a happy birthday in the comments, because today is her day. And honestly, I wouldn't be here doing this breakdown if she hadn't taught me to question everything, to never take the surface explanation at face value. And that spirit is exactly what I'm channeling here as I ask the question, why did Ryan Poles structure these four deals the way he did? And what does it say about this team's risk tolerance in a year where the margin for error is razor thin? Let's begin with the first contract, the one that slid under the radar of most beat writers and fans, yet might carry more cap consequences than any of us realize. And that's Jordan McFadden, offensive lineman, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers, a guy with 13 games played and only 2 starts in his career. And yet the Bears claimed him off waivers and gave him not just a chance to compete, but a real contract. 2 years, $175 million, with over $250,000 in dead cap tied to it. And when you pause and think about it, that's not a tryout. That's not a camp body. That's a financial commitment that suggests one of two things. Either the Bears see something in McFadden that nobody else in the league does, or Ryan Poles is starting to bend his own fiscal rules in search of stability in the trenches, because no GM who's preached roster efficiency and cap discipline throws 6-figure guarantees at a fringe lineman without some kind of long play in mind. But here's the problem. McFadden's track record doesn't justify the cost. He's undersized for the interior at 6'2", 303, has logged just 176 snaps, and though he hasn't allowed a sack, we're still talking about someone who was buried on another team's depth chart. And now, somehow, he's locked in for 2 years with a cap penalty if the Bears want to walk away? That's not just curious, it's risky, and it hints at either quiet desperation to stabilize the O-line or a misread of market value that could come back to haunt Poles when the season begins. And every dollar starts to count, especially if injuries force the team to dip into the veteran free agent pool later in the year. But the oddities don't end there, because next on the list is a name every Bears fan knows for all the wrong reasons. Travis Homer, the 6-year veteran running back who carved out a reputation as a special teams guy in Seattle, and then brought that resume to Chicago. And not much else, because, let's be honest, 475 career rushing yards in 6 years is barely a whisper, and yet the Bears just gave him a 1-year, $1.75 million contract with $1 million guaranteed, meaning even if he doesn't make the 53-man roster, that money counts against the cap. And in a crowded backfield featuring DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, Ian Wheeler, and even newcomer Kyle Manningai, how exactly does Homer justify that price tag? He doesn't. And what's more troubling is that this isn't a one-off decision. It's a pattern emerging, a thread connecting these contracts that suggests the Bears are hedging too hard on their special teams' identity at the cost of true positional value. Because yes, Richard Hightower may love his gunners and return aces, but when $1 million is guaranteed to a guy who's logged just 11 yards as a Bear, it's fair to question whether we're over-prioritizing third-phase contributors in a league that still demands elite play from your top 22 first. And remember, these dollars aren't monopoly money. They're opportunity costs. They're contracts we can't offer to someone else if we get hit with injuries, if a surprise vet becomes available, or if a young player demands an extension. And when you zoom out, the fog gets thicker, because then you arrive at the third deal, the one that makes analysts do a double-take. And that's Jade Walker, undrafted rookie wide receiver out of Texas A&M, a player with intriguing athleticism but still no draft pedigree, no NFL tape, and yet he's now the owner of a 3-year, $289.85 million contract with over $200,000 in dead cap. And again, you have to stop and ask why. Why does an undrafted rookie get a deal that implies not just belief in his potential, but expectation of contribution? It's rare. It's almost unheard of. And when you pair that with the fact that Walker's contract mirrors that of another undrafted wideout, J.P. Richardson from TCU, you begin to see a trend forming, one that signals either a dramatic shift in scouting philosophy or a level of financial recklessness that could kneecap this roster in late September when the margin for error tightens. But let's look deeper. Walker is 6'2", 199 pounds, ran a 4.44, posted a 34-inch vert, and delivered yards after catch numbers that make you lean in, 16.9 in 2023, 11.9 in 2024, and yet his role diminished over time. He became a decoy, a special teamer, and while he told scouts at his pro day that he wants to make his NFL living on special teams, we circle back to the same question. Are we paying special teamers like starters now? Because if so, this isn't just about risk. It's about resource misallocation.